When you first started your channel, how many years ago was that?
It was, I think it was like 2007, something like that.
So think about that. In 4 years, that's going to be 20 years old.
Wow, that's crazy.
So here's the thing. When you first started that channel, you were hiking in the mountains of Carolina and all over the Southeast.
Yeah.
You were doing obscure like trails and like, hey, up here there's an abandoned airplane that crashed.
Right.
And everything opened up, a film by Brady Brandwood, and it was always interesting. You never showed your face. This is like the first time we're seeing this guy's face.
I'm telling you, Brady's.
It's like Banksy revealed.
There it is. He's all right. But you would do these amazing stories. And the music was always great. And your narration is, dare I say, romantically hypnotic.
And his normally very sensitive setae, the hair-like feelers on his legs, are not going to be able to feel nearly as well or be as sensitive as they would be normally.
I mean, I never saw it that way, but yeah.
Oh, I do.
Maybe I got something going on here. I don't know, but
and how long have we known each other?
Yeah, right.
No, it's very
No,
soothing.
you're right, Chris.
It's very soothing, and
I think, that's one of the magical things about YouTube is you have to have something that's gonna hit a lot of people, and I don't know what it is exactly about the Leon the Lobster show, but the first video is now almost up to 25 million views, and there was something about that struck a chord with a lot of people. I uploaded it in October. It chugged along like my other videos do. It had about
in
30,000.
2021, right? So
yeah, it had about 30,000 views, and around December, it started just skyrocketing.
So here's I don't want to interrupt you with that, but when you look at your other videos, you are doing before Leon the Lobster.
Yes, I know exactly where you're going.
Engine repair on motorcycles.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're doing you'll
yeah.
buy a motorcycle, you restore it. I can imagine the people, and you get 2,000 views.
Yeah,
right. More than that?
Average about 10 to 20,000 views.
All right, 20,000 views. Okay, I was
over
way
a
off.
year.
Right. So now your audience is pretty much like they're going to you because they're enjoying that content, and then you're doing hiking through the mountains and you're canoeing through these things, and it's like, wow, this is so wild. And then 23 million views on you going to the Publix and buying a lobster.
Luckiest lobster to ever live.
And I don't know what the formula of that is, but it I don't know. It touched something in a lot of people. Guys like Joe Rogan were talking about it in his podcast. There were threads on Reddit that just started going crazy. Just all sorts of people were talking about it. And then you have this spider webbing thing out, because if somebody's sharing it, it just goes in all directions. And it was literally the dictionary term of going viral. It just absolutely went viral. And I remember you and I were chatting, and you had messaged me that one night, and you said, dude, what's going on with your video? And it was just like skyrocketing in views, and I was like, I have no idea. It has just taken off, and it did.
At one point I think you told me at one point you were number 7 trending in the world. Is that right?
That's crazy, bro.
And that's part of the spider webbing thing, is that, once you can get on that train track and
but you didn't do anything to put yourself on there. You put it out there, and it took.
Exactly. And I don't know what the formula for that was. People just saw something in the video that touched them.
Wow. Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazingly shot, and it's just
but it's not any different than the other videos I've been doing. It's the same style. That's been there's also been a weird train ride after that. I mean, once that video took off and got many millions of views, then I was getting all sorts of emails from literary agents were emailing me about writing a book.
Wow.
Which I did. It hasn't sold yet, but it's it's still in the works. People were constantly emailing me about sponsorships and things like that. And even there were these goodwill people out there. There were guys that were more successful than me on YouTube, and they were like, dude, I saw you're getting some success, and they would send me some advice. Don't do this, don't do this. You're going to get a lot of scammers coming to you.
It's like when you win the lottery and people
right,
say, "Hey,"
exactly. And I did get a lot, but I also got a fair amount of hate mail. I actually got I got an email from a preacher, and he was like, I see you've got this video on YouTube. I just want you to know that saving a lobster is not going to get you into heaven. Things like that.
I will tell you this about one of the videos that you did do, man, that I thought was really interesting was the car that you when you were a kid, somebody ran it off the cliff.
Yeah, and I still want to find somebody that knows how to rappel and go down there and just see, because it's kind of hanging off this cliff. Yeah. And it could be a story, or it could be nothing. It could be somebody pushed it off. But
it was a trip.
A 65 Thunderbird is not a car that you would push off a cliff.
From the time that you were in high school, that's when you found it the first time, and then you went back.
I was 18
have you seen that one?
It's still there. I haven't seen that.
Oh man,
I was 18 years old, and I saw it down there, and I'd happened to have gotten a Canon AE1 camera because I just started getting into photography, and I had a 200 millimeter lens, and I was zooming in, and I found it, and I photographed it, and I
at 18
had that photograph all these years, and it's still sitting there.
That's amazing.
I went back
to
so cool. check where it was, and I was like, oh damn, it's still there. It's all covered in brush now.
Well, let me ask you this now.
That was really cool.
You were doing these really relaxing, going, and even when you got Leon you were just, it wasn't like you didn't do it for the views.
Right.
You were just, I'll do this as a video.
I had the 55-gallon aquarium in my office. I was like, this will be fun to do.
Brady's just a storyteller.
But now it's become a business. Like the other videos didn't become you were just having fun. There's some like responsibility that comes with it.
You know what's funny is, you are the same. You guys are all the same. From my teenage years on through to now, I've wanted to be a filmmaker. I've written several screenplays. I've tried to sell them to Hollywood. I had an agent try and help me in Hollywood back when when I was in my mid-20s. I would send these screenplays out, and they would go to readers, so-called readers, and they would read them and check them and see if they were sellable. And then, I'd be watching movies. I used to watch movies I used to go to the theater all the time and watch movies, and I would see scenes that were strangely similar and dialogue that was strangely similar to the stuff that I had sent out there. And I'm like, this is, it's like a chop shop. You send your screenplay out to Hollywood, and these readers get them, and they pull out the scenes and the dialogue that they like. They're not being copyright infringing because they're not taking your screenplay, but they're taking your scenes. They're taking a little bit of your dialogue here or there and using them in other productions and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. I just became so frustrated with the whole filmmaking industry. And I've chugged along in TV, and it's nice to finally get a little recognition for something that I did.
Absolutely.
Without any middleman or executives saying, putting me through a filter and saying, well, this will sell or this won't sell. Right. That's the cool thing about YouTube is you can put it out there, and if it sings to enough people, it will rise. Yeah. You don't have some executive going on, like a music executive or a movie executive.
I think that's the good thing about technology today, social media and YouTube for musicians and for actors and for filmmakers is you don't need those assholes. You can just do something that I know this is good. I'm going to put it out there.
Absolutely.